G'day folks, welcome to another edition. For those just joining me, thanks for joining on board. A lot of new subscribers. Not that I'm in it for any of that sort of stuff, but just building my aeroplane and putting it out there for people. So thanks for watching. But if you have just joined me, I'm building a Aussie 750 or Zenith 750 Cruzer. If you watched all the other videos and caught up, I've just, in this episode, fitted the cowl. Couldn't be happier. Got a nice sexy cowl. It's got a big nose on it, nice and smooth. This is how I went about it. Alright, g'day guys. Where are we at? So finished the windscreen, finished the doors for now, up until that paint stage I guess. Offered up the cowl. Tonight I'm waiting on my L4 Lamy RA Oz inspector to come along and do my third, possibly the final stage inspection of the build I guess. He hasn't seen the fuselage yet, so got it all laid out. I'll go through that process with you, how I'm sort of preparing for him to come along tonight in about an hour or so. And then I'll move on to the cowl. So just making these videos as well, I guess, just putting it all out there guys. I'm not trying to, self-promote or anything like that. If I help someone out, that's great. This is the way I'm doing it, so hopefully that helps someone else out. People that have gone before me have managed to put the Cruzer together quite nicely. I might do things a bit differently, they've done things a bit differently, and you'll probably build yours a little bit differently as well. As long as it works, whatever works, that's great. Okay, bit of mail time. Aircraft spruce. I got a step drill. Would have come in handy for the windows, it still will. But this is it goes up in 30-second increments from 1/8 to ½ inch up in 30-second increments. So that'll come in handy. Don't really need to know what size hole, just take it up a step, try the bolt till it's right for the bolts that are going through the glass. Got my new throttle cable, the vernier I think it is, you got to push the button to move it, with the 1032 end on it, and big bag full of hardware. I also went for 4 different sizes of these rubber dummy things, I guess, just to put over the positive leads. So I'm just doing a bit of a stock take. A few more tackle boxes. So I'm going to have 632, 832, 1032. Just sort my stuff out so the build actually goes a little bit easier. So with my inspector coming, I'm just treating it the way I'd like to look at it, I guess. So I've got all my paperwork out, my builder's log, that's all my electrical stuff, RA Oz inspection certificate, which I've already pre-prepared and filled out. The other documentation that I've been using, Jabiru USA, Jabiru Australia, whatever other, or the Zen Air windscreen fit, my photo guide, so I can quickly show, done that, as I've gone through. Got the page open, ready to go. Last inspection was the wings, so I can just sort of show, if he wants to see this, where I'm up to. I just tidied the place up. There we go. Looking good. Ready for inspection. Alright, so just working away here. I'm going to install the bottom cowl. I've noticed that a few people seem to drag the aircraft out and give the engine a start. For me, it's a bit like buying a new car. The engine's going to run. If not, it just goes back to the factory. But can't see much point in putting fuel in the aircraft, spitting fumes all over it, having clecos rattle around, just to do that first engine start. So my first engine start's basically going to be where the aircraft's painted and ready to go. And that's when I'll, final assembly, put the fuel in, do my fuel leak checks and all that sort of stuff. So that's where I'm at the moment. We'll continue on with the cowl. So first impressions, yep. I think I'm going to need to fit the top cowl, or at least get the top cowl positioned first, because you sort of guess where this goes on the bottom cowl, but if it's up too high, the top cowl will sit too high. So I'm just going to mark where this wants to sit and match this to the skin. I'll probably end up taking this dog leg out where it overlaps the skin to minimise the gap at the back. Also though, got a 9-inch spinner, but got a decent about 1/2 inch all the way around. Anyway, what I'm going to do is take the cowl off again, which I'm probably going to do about 40 times, and clean up, get the cowls joined together nicely on the bench, and then work my way slowly from there. Seems to fit rather nicely though, so yeah, that's just straight out of the box. Chucked it on, looking good, going well. Right, mounting the cowl, made up my 9-inch disc, if you like. I just connected it with some L angles, nice circle. Wire head centre, I also marked 140mm for the flange and 70mm for inside. First little mistake, I think it's pretty critical to have not much gap around the crankshaft, so I'll have to repair the cowl. I've just cut a bit of a cheater slot to get me going and got a bit ambitious down the back there. That's okay, we can work with that. I was picturing just a 1/2 inch flange around here, but I think it'll let too much air in. Want all the air to go in the ducts, in a row. So I bolted that on. This will slide on there, represents the spinner, gives me my back plate distance. Bear in mind the spinner back plate, which is over here. So it has about a 10mm overhang, if you like. So if you picture that, goes onto the prop hub and then goes 10mm behind. Set up the way it is, I've got looks like about 1/4 inch clearance when I've put the spinner back plate on. So does that make sense, guys? Back of the prop and the spinner hangs about 10mm behind the rear of the propeller. So I'll put that on. What did I do next? Before I put the cowl on, I ran this bit of tape along the firewall rivets. And there's a firewall in there, so a row of rivets. So I know the width of that tape, so now I'm going to run another bit. I've done it on the other side, put it on the outside here. Just double the tape over onto the cowl, so that's where my row of rivets is for the firewall, and I'm told to cut it 1/2 inch in from the firewall. So I get my 1/2 inch tape out, I run a green line, and that'll be my cut line. And cut to the forward side of that line. I'll just mark that line before I forget. Alright, with the cowl fitted, first thing to note, that's just smooth. No ugly bumps and lumps poking out everywhere. Very nice. It's all smooth. Cowl is made for the engine, engine's made for the cowl, horizontal floor, fits in there beautifully. So you can see where I'm going with this. So I'm about 1 inch too high. So I've got to take 1 inch off the front here and lower it all down without, so it'll taper back to nothing at the back here. So it'll taper up and off the front. A little bit at a time, and seems to be sneaking up on it quite nicely now. So she's got a bit of attitude now, turning her nose up at me. You can also, I'm not sure if you pick it up in the video, but probably the glare shield wants to come. The cowl should drop down, so top cow's, yeah, about 1 inch too high. Cut away. Alright, so working on the cowl, I cut 1 inch off the bottom of the top cowl, just to the corners. One of my mates suggested that. I can worry about the edge later on. And now it drops down from 10 inches to 9 inches. Really wrapped with that, but actually it's going to fit. We're going to get there. She might fly after all. So just playing with the angles now, obviously because this is tapered and I've dropped it down, the angle's slightly wrong. So I've slit the bottom and that allows me just to bend that back a touch out of the way, take it out of play for now, and then I'll glass that up later. Okay, my cut and shut. Couldn't be happier. It's turned out well. Need to put some filler. Also, what I'm going to do is a final sand. I've marked it where I just need to sand. This side it's the worst, probably 1/8 of an inch there, and then overhangs here. So I run a straight edge along this. It's okay. I can fill that. This side's just needs a couple of touch-ups, and looking good across the top. Alright, cowl coming along nicely with my cut and shut, lowered it all down, spaced out my where I'm going to put my anchor nuts, my cowl fasteners across the top, 4 across the top. Thing to note there, the left hand side of the cowl is longer than the right hand side because of the P factor or the thrust line, so the engine's offset. So in my case it's about 10 or 15 mil longer. I'm going to fill all this. The plan there, I'm going to wrap the top cowl in some sort of release, sellotape or something, and fill it all up. Okay, going along nicely, just competing with the rain on the roof. So I went with 4 fasteners. Consideration at the front, not too far, far enough away from the radius, just so everything is going to sit flat. I'll do another fastener in here once I make this fit. So looking good this side. We're going to drop a Cleco in the top here. You just sort of got to work your way around, get everything nice and flat. The green tape indicates got enough room there for my rubber seal, this one here, this guy. So that's where the windscreen comes to, but I allowed myself probably 1/4 inch more, so it'll actually sit on the windscreen about there. I'm going to trim the cowl following the nice curvature of the windscreen, so it'll look like it's meant to fit. And then this line represents where the skin finishes for the glare shield. Then I've come in, it's 100 mil from the firewall rivets to the end of the skin, so 50 mil, which gives me good edge clearance from the this edge of the tape. I'll whack a Cleco in there, top dead centre, and consideration is this corner, I guess. Still might take the joggle off the bottom cowl so it sits flat, so I don't have a gap here. And you got the glare shield skin ends here somewhere like that. The firewall, the bottom skin's a bit thinner, a bit narrower. Engine mount's in there somewhere, and I got some electronics as well. But also want to pin the corner of the cowl. I'd like to maintain that straight line, and obviously put one about there. But I'll just see how we're going for clearance on the inside. We're going well. The other side, I just started on one side. This will be my overlapping side, if you like. It's pretty close. Just needs a final trim. I found I was, chasing myself a bit. So I get the other side fixed and Clecoed. Now I can trim this side. But as you can see, it's getting there. We're just working up on it. A little bit of filler, and then it'll be perfect. Except nothing less. Okay. Woohoo! Beautifully fitting cowl. Fantastic. Really nice. Clecoed. Just got to work out where I want the screw in the corner here, and I think I'll get rid of the joggle underneath. Probably said that a few times now. Get rid of that so it sits down flat, and then the top skin it's held out. There's sort of 2 thicknesses of glass there, if you like. So we'll get that sitting down flush. This is going to be trimmed. This will be trimmed off here. I'll trim it up and then retain the tape, trim around that line so the windscreen will fit nicely. Saw before, I've trimmed my windscreen so this actually goes somewhere rather than stopping in the middle of nowhere. Go to the door, and we are looking good. Really nice. On the other side, so I've gone, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 up the side, 4 along the top. Really happy with the fit. Had to do a lot of cutting and shutting, so I dropped the whole cowl down 1 inch at the front, tapered it towards the back, Still got a little bit of trimming. So this side, I got one side perfect. This side was the trimming side, if you like. Once I set up top dead centre, got that all centred, trimmed this nicely. A little bit of an overlap at the back here, and need a bit of filler at the front. But that'll turn out really nice. Doesn't really need filler, but I can do that better. So we'll fill that gap, and be great. Clean up the edges. Prop hub, my mounting plate can come off, I guess, and I'll fill this and get this nice and smooth to the edge there. But one cowl fitted, couldn't be happier. Okay, hot off the press, next update. So I had these clicos in, worked out where I wanted my corner one with all those considerations, I guess, engine mounts, skins overlapping, and I put it there. 50mm once again, 50mm in from the firewall rivets. So sort of slightly out of whack with this. That's okay, I can live with that. That sort of has to be there. If you go any closer, you run into the engine mount bolt and other issues. So that's where that one ended up. The problem with that, I probably should have started with this one, but threw this gap out. So nice and evenly spaced. So, you know, 250, 250, 250, and there. So, what I'm going to do is remove this one. This is part of being a home builder, I guess. I'll take that one out, shift this guy, blanket, new one there, and that guy will go down here, just to evenly space it out. So I'll still have one, how many will I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Still have 4 across the top, and the new fella. But I think when you walk up to the aircraft, you see on the other side, it just looks a bit odd. So I don't have to do that, but I'm going to move them. I've got to mix up some filler anyway. Just a matter of drill a hole, fill a hole. That's what we'll do. Make it as best we can. There we go. That's the end result. Nice even space. And 1, 2, 3 little holes to fill. A lot better. Just going through and upsizing the clicos. Don't drop your standards. Temptation's just to go straight, but I'll straight to the black clico, 5/32, but we'll go 3/32, 1/8, then 5/32. They're going to be anchor nuts eventually anyway, so just upsize. The tape just indicates those holes that I shifted. I'll show you how to fill those in a minute. Okay, just to repair those extra holes that I put in the cowl, quick sand, rough it up, good little cheat. Get your fiberglass, little fiberglass patch over the top. Super glue, that's right, just super glue. Wet it out. Same as resin, just wet it all out. That'll soak in. When it's transparent, hit that with your activator. Boom, done. That's now dry. Quick wipe. Sandpaper. That's done, dry, ready to fill. That was in real time. Alright, look at that. I keep looking at this and showing you guys, but I'm pretty proud of that and the fit. Also got as best I could with the glare shield rolling down. It'll meet up beautifully. Grab my spinner. So the spinner is actually the same size as that bit of wood, obviously. The old jab spinner. Beautiful. I was really determined to make that front. Really determined. You just got to have, this is one part of the aircraft, this has got to be perfect. Same as the seal on here. So I'm a little bit, just needs a tiny bit off. I've just got to radius the inside edge a bit more because it's radiused on the bottom. So radius that inside edge just so it sits down nicely. And I'm also, like I said before, going to take this joggle out just to stop, just sits up just a little bit. I'll take that joggle out and then both bits will sit down. This is going to be trimmed, so take the cowl line up, trim that off, and the tape will remain, but just trim that around so my windscreen will fit in there nicely. I'll fabricate a oil filler cap. Interestingly, my oil filler's about there. Had probably 4 square inches and just nearly missed. And now, while it's on there, I've drawn some marks. I'm going to actually run my little Dremel cutter. I'll slot top of both cowls there and there. In there, you get see where I'm going, and in there. Then when I take them off, I'll know those slots, if you like, that I cut with my rotary Dremel bit saw, and then I can just trim the rest. And then when I put it back on, Bob's your uncle, or Robert's your brother's dad, and looking good. So, really happy with that. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Got the cowl fitted, really stoked. When I first took it out of the box, you might be able to sense it, wasn't real happy with the fit, but as a great person once said, sand it, shape it, mould it, Dremel it, do whatever you have to do, make it work. So, did that and it worked. Thanks for watching. I'm going on holidays. See you when I get back.